What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back to a new review. Today we are checking out the $80 phone made by Lenovo called the A5, and well, I have to say that I was quite surprised to see what this phone has to offer for such a low price. First of all, the phone doesn't look or feel cheap, because I've seen a lot of cheap phones in the past and some of them actually feel cheap, but this one doesn't, even though the back and the frame are made out of plastic. On the back there we even get a fingerprint scanner, and yes, the fingerprint scanner works good, but it's not the fastest out there. But for $80, what could we possibly expect? The phone even has a 3.5mm audio jack, something that we don't even see for phones around $1,000, so definitely a nice addition, and even the sound from that audio jack is decent enough, well, considering the price of the phone. We get a 4000 mAh battery. Yes, that's bigger than most phones available on the market these days, and on one charge you can definitely make it through an entire day and get between 8 to 10 hours of screen time, and once again that's good for any phone at any price. Of course there are some downsides as well, like the micro USB charging port at the bottom of the device and the fact that the phone doesn't support fast charging, so charging this phone from 0 to 100 takes about 3 hours, which is kind of slow. Now, for internal storage, you only have 16 gigs of internal storage, and after the operating system, we're only left with about 9 gigs of internal storage. But the phone can take 2 SIM cards and an SD card at the same time, and you can use that SD card as internal storage. So even though you only have 9 gigs of internal storage, you can just expand that with an SD card. The screen is a 5.45 inches screen with a 720p resolution, and I don't necessarily mind the resolution for this screen size, but the screen doesn't get super bright, so whenever you take the phone outside, well, it is a bit difficult to see the screen. But for $80, what could we possibly expect? We even get a front-facing flash, a 8 megapixel front-facing camera, and an LED notification light. Now, the front-facing camera isn't too bad. I mean, if you have plenty of light, the pictures turn out decent enough. When you don't have enough light, the pictures become a bit grainy and blurry. But we've seen that for phones around $300 as well, so I can't really complain about the front-facing camera. Moving to the back, there we have another flash and a 13 megapixel camera, and once again the camera isn't bad. I mean, if you have plenty of light, once again the pictures turn out acceptable, but as soon as you don't have enough light, well, the pictures become a bit blurry and a bit grainy. But as I said before, we've seen that for phones around $300, so for $80 I think the cameras are pretty good on this phone. Performance-wise, well, this is definitely not the fastest phone out there, but it's not trying to be the fastest phone out there either. So inside this phone we have a quad-core CPU. This is the MediaTek 6739, but this is an entry-level CPU. We have 3 gigs of RAM and Android 8.1, but unfortunately we have Lenovo's own skin on top of that Android 8.1, and that kind of slows things down a bit. If you check the scores on the Antutu benchmark and the Geekbench 4, well, the scores aren't that high, but they're pretty normal for the MediaTek 6739. But even like that, for most tasks, so day-to-day usage, the phone performs okay. So for checking your email, scrolling through your Facebook feed, browsing the web, or even watching YouTube videos, the phone performs pretty decent. I mean, there is a bit of lag here and there. You have to wait a couple of seconds when you open apps, but overall not bad considering the price of the phone. Now, if you plan on playing games on this phone, well, it doesn't do that great for gaming, but I guess it really depends what kind of games you're playing, because if you're playing some light games, those ones do okay, but if you're planning to play something like PUBG, well, that's not exactly gonna happen. We even get a good GPS unit inside this phone, and it actually takes only a couple of seconds to find your location, which is something better than a lot of phones that I've seen in the past. Now, for sensors, we don't really have any sensors, but that was to be expected because they had to keep the price pretty low. We don't get dual band Wi-Fi, so you can only connect to the 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi networks, but at least we get 4G connectivity. And here in Canada, the phone works on 2G, 3G, and on 4G. But as I always say, make sure that you check the bands before you buy this device and make sure the phone would actually work with your carrier. The speaker on top here sounds pretty good, and this is actually the only speaker that we have, so that's the loudspeaker as well. We don't have a speaker at the bottom here, and it sounds good enough for most conversations, no complaints about that. As for the speeds over the 4G network and Wi-Fi, they're pretty decent for a phone around $80. So to quickly conclude this video, for $80 or less, because you can actually find this phone for like $75, you can't exactly go wrong. Sure, the phone is not the fastest out there. When you're scrolling in between your screen, there is a bit of lag, you have to wait a couple of seconds to open apps, but for basic tasks the phone does more than okay. We get great battery life, we get decent cameras, good build quality, so if you're looking for a basic phone you cannot go wrong with this one, so you should definitely consider this one if you're looking for an affordable device. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, press that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.